Hey, probably you got this property and you're asking yourself, how am I going to get water out there for the animals? You know, I can't afford to put in a well. I mean, those cost a lot of money. But what's an inexpensive way to do that? Well, in my case, I built a guzzler. So this guzzler, it catches the rain, funnels it down into the tank, and then I got a little float valve and a little water trough so I can provide water to the animals year round. Been really successful at it, have a lot to drink. Let me show you how I did it. If you're feeding year round, you gotta have your guzzler close to your feeders. So, got my feeders right over here, right? Got my guzzler, it's right over there. So, gotta have the water close by, because, you know, choking down that cottonseed, you can't do it without a drink. So here we go. Anyone that's ever built anything or tried to dig a hole in the Edwards Plateau, you'll know there is nothing but rocks. So I kind of looked around and said, where can I find some trees I could take advantage of? So in this case, I got some cedar trees. And all I did was I caught them off and then I bolted my frame to the cedar trees. As you can see here and here. It's kind of worked out pretty well. You know, I also left some branches on the tree alive. One, creates some shelter, kind of gives the deer a good, comfortable, some security. This is kind of like a shelter place. And the funny thing was, there's a lot of the deer bed down in here during the day, hot heat of the day. They'll come in here and lay down. You know, I cleaned out as much of the rocks as I possibly could, made it nice and soft, and they like to come and lay down. So again, I used the trees. Let's cut them off, bolted to the trees. Kept the trees alive, didn't kill the trees. And then for the others, well, I had to drill some holes. So sunk some pipe. I used a cordless hammer drill to punch a hole in the rock so I could put that there. But then I, you know, kind of bolted my frame to the rock, to that pipe, just kind of built it out. And it's worked out pretty good. And the reason I use this wood is it was free. So actually had a friend that had it laying around and he was going to burn it. And so I convinced him to let me have it. And so I used it to build my frame for my roofing, and it turned out really nice. Once you get your location picked, and then you get your framing all up and you've got it all secure, everything's bolted down nice and tight, then you throw some tin on top. So I went with the green tin. I like it blends in with all the trees, and so it doesn't like stand out. You know, it's not an eyesore, and it's done real well for me. Then you got to pop, of course, you got to pop a gutter on there. And so put a gutter, and then I've got some piping running it down. But first you got to catch something, you know, got this little leaf catcher underneath here. It catches all the leaves, prevents it from going down into my tank. And then this is my tank. After it comes on down into my tank, and there we go. We got lots of water. Got lots of clean water. And actually when I put this in, what was it, May of last year, I added about 200 gallons right up front. I just hauled it in with the buggy and got about 200 gallons in it, and it's been full ever since. Literally has not even come close to coming dry. I probably put bigger tank than I needed to, but I was just worried because in this area, it never rains, but when it rains, boy, it rains a lot. So I want to be able to catch as much of that rain as I possibly can. And so I went with a little bit bigger tank. Probably could have gotten by with a smaller one, but the bigger one, and it worked out good. So then down here, right? So now I've got just plumbed it right out of there into a float valve. I set up some framing work and I poured myself a little concrete trough. But originally, what I did was I used one of those stainless steel pans with a float in it, and it was, yeah, the hogs kept flipping it over. No matter, I bolted it down as best that I could, but those hogs are so strong, and they just came and they just kept flipping it over. So I went with this, went with concrete. Yeah, they haven't flipped it over. But I didn't want to mess with my float valve, so I had an old cage off of an old feeder, so I just kind of put it around here and put some rocks on it, and it's been quite a while, and I've yet to mess with it. So it's been about 6 months, and I've had no issues whatsoever. So there you go, guzzle up, buddy. That's it.
I heard about a man in Arkansas. standing in some town where she was holding up a sign for downtown, looking for some work. She just needs a little perk. Well, I saw society just to let her be. She said, oh Lord, you're taking my pay. Oh Lord, I got nowhere to stay. Oh Lord, just a bumming around today. Whoa, hey! Well, I've been to every town across this land. I try to see the beauty the best I can. Well, I look to the east and I look to the west, where every chain has raped your land the best they can. And we sing, oh Lord, taking my pay. Oh Lord, I got nowhere to stay. Oh Lord, just a bumming around today. I said, oh Lord, taking my pay. Oh Lord, I got nowhere to stay. Oh Lord, just a bumming around today. Come on now, sing it with me. Oh Lord, taking my pay. Oh Lord, I got nowhere to stay. Oh Lord, just a bumming around today. Come on now, let me hear it sing it. Oh Lord, taking my pay. Oh Lord, I got
Okay.
nowhere to stay.
Okay.
Oh, just a bumming around today. I said, oh Lord, taking my pay. Oh Lord, I got nowhere to stay.
So I've got to be in a close proximity to the feeder. So they don't have far to go to get a drink, which I could assure you, I could use it right out.